Hey everybody, welcome back for another conversation with me and Adam Dare, owner of Own Your Fitness, just outside of New York. I want to make sure that we establish context for today's conversation. So it's going to be really timely. We're going to be talking about what fitness professionals and personal trainers can be doing at this very moment. We're in a very brand new normal. And a lot of personal trainers, a lot of fitness professionals are brainstorming, trying to find ways to be honest, to continue serving our clients, but also we got to survive. We need income. So it is not uncommon for a lot of fitness professionals to start networking and brainstorming and seeing how each other are getting through this tough time. You know, we're all in this together and we're all going to get out of this together. So Adam, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm well, Nelson. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. So I wanted to ask you, how has your coaching services been doing and what have you been doing for your business?
Right. Okay. So a lot of younger personal trainers are asking me this and how to do it because we're self-employed.
Yes.
What that means is that we're not big businesses. So like I was speaking with the Hudson County of Chambers, the business association, they said that a lot of the restaurants and businesses with 20 plus people are suffering. But what about like people like us who are self-employed and we employ 2 or 3 independent contractors? Like I've got a couple of teammates, you know, and very exclusive and high-end personal training. So we're around the same age and we've been in personal training business for a long time. But I will remind you what happened in 2008, 2009. So back, and you're from California.
Yeah.
I come from the big city outside New York area, Jersey City area. We serve two geographic locations, and now we do online personal training globally.
Yep.
Right? With the help of FaceTime and Zoom, you and I can coach our clients online. So a couple of things I'll remind, if there are personal trainers that are listening to us right now and they went through the whole 2008 to 10, what I had to do is brush up further on my sales skills, my craft. What I really mean by that is by me becoming better, conveying my value and my services and how I can impact and change people's lives, essentially fix problems for people, it helped me that much more in order for me to rebuild my business. The other thing I want to talk about, which is interesting for guys who've been doing this for a while like us, that when it comes to the younger generation of personal trainers that are now the heavy loaded Instagrammers, the heavy loaded online, the ebooks and stuff like that. You and I, back in the day, we didn't have that. So I had a time where I had to actually scout people on the floor. I literally had to go to gym goers and say, hey, you're not doing that exercise right. Can I come help you squat better so you can protect your knees and at the same time engage your core and you get better results? So in 10 workouts, you're going to get the results of 30 workouts.
Yeah.
And besides, I don't want to see you injure your back.
Yeah.
You got me. Okay. So fast forward 2020. Okay. So I had to diversify for my business. I had to take my clientele from in-person personal training to online training. Now, everybody knows that if you're a fitness professional, online training is what we're doing right now because people still need to train and live their lives. Plus, the other thing is exercise is actually improvement and improving your immune system and your emotional being and all that. But that's another show. We'll talk about that later. So what I'm talking about today is diversification and adaptation. So I went online, but what I've done differently by going online, instead of doing like a 60-minute traditional one-on-one personal training session or a 45 to 50-minute personal training sessions, I've brought on another product, 30 to 35 minutes personal training.
Yeah.
30 to 35 minutes strength training. 30 to 35 minutes body transformation, muscle building, glute workouts, whatever the person wants. Right? So you know how there are high-intensity HIIT classes for 30 to 35 minutes? There is now personal training, transform your body, build your glutes, put on muscle, 30 to 35 minutes. So I've diversified.
I think that is an interesting segue, and you hit upon something I want audience members to know is that, again, going back to the premise that we're all in this together and many of us are stuck at home, you also have to understand the audience or your clients are also at home, but sometimes they're working from home, they have kids, they can't necessarily commit to a specific time because even though they're at home, their schedules are pretty hectic. So even trying to squeeze in 60 minutes to do one task, they're going to have distractions. So diversifying your services and also taking the whole programming idea and say, okay, you can do 30 minutes, and if you want to focus on strengthening this day, then it becomes more programmatic. There you go. You still diversify your service offerings in order to retain your current clients, but you're working within their now present needs. Their schedules are all over the place, and I think that's a great segue and reminder to the audience.
Right, and I think what you did was like you sort of stimulated my thoughts is in terms of diversification, like you said, you're right. Not a lot of people have that time. People are still working in the areas like California where you are, or the New York City area where I'm serving and whatnot. We realize that we have to adapt to the
exactly
that we're serving, to the audience that we're serving. And I think we had this conversation on the video last time with you where I asked you and you mentioned that on how different social media platforms, you've got to adapt the message to the client you're serving, that you're going after to help. And that makes a difference. Totally. Know who you're helping.
Yeah. Is that your number one advice for fitness professionals?
So my number one advice right now for fitness professionals, and I'll give two. Number one is diversify, have more than just personal training. So you and I have been doing this for a while, so we've built up our inventory. Now, let me explain what I mean by inventory. Let's take, for example, you're Coach Nelson Toriano. We met on LinkedIn. We connect now. We're building a library for younger personal trainers on how to go and educate themselves on our YouTube channels and LinkedIn channels and whatnot. So we're putting out more than just personal training. I, Adam Dare of Own Your Fitness, am helping personal trainers become better at sales. The other day I posted a little script that I had for a client, a live fitness assessment consultation session on LinkedIn. And a lot of people reached out to me, wow, you gave analogies that when you explain to a prospect or a client that you're going to help them, and that return on investment is better than any stock or any ETF out there, and investment in your own self is better than any other financial product out there. Then,
absolutely.
Yeah, and then the prospect was like, well, that's true. I mean, you can help me more than the stock market. I'm not going to get any return. So you have to diversify what it is you're doing. So right now I'm helping younger personal trainers on become better at sales and improving their fitness assessment and the consultation, how to really speak to the person in front of them and explain to them what your value is. So I would say if you're a younger personal trainer or if you're a fitness professional, diversify, have more to give, and then bring more value to give. So we're teaching coaching at Own Your Fitness, and I'm also doing sales for personal trainers and mentorship, right? You're doing coaching and you're doing how to set personal trainers up with businesses, and you're the business and you're doing independence and whatnot. So just diversify, adapt. Diversify, adapt.
Yeah, I really like that mindset because, again, if you're new, over time, you're going to accumulate a lot of different skill sets that may not necessarily be within that framework of programming that you're so accustomed to. Over time and over experience, you're going to start learning all of these different hard skills in order to be successful. That, in turn, can be a different service you can offer to a different demographic, and you naturally have a diversification of services you can offer to a broader audience. Another thing that you mentioned, and I want to highlight this, is also take advantage of this time. So even if you are, let's say that your income dropped and then maybe your clients aren't training with you right now, you may now have a surplus of time. So start practicing your sales skills. Start homing in on your skills that in order when everything's come back to normal, you become a stronger, more proficient, and more successful personal trainer. What advice, now again, we're all independent contractors, or many of us are independent contractors. What other advice would you give to small businesses?
Right now, there's a lot of vague information out there. We exactly don't know where we're going to be. I mean, I can talk about virtual reality and whatnot, but here's what I tell people, and here's how I live my life. So I can share with you how I live my life.
Mm-hmm.
If starting now in this situation, if I can get 10%, 15% better every week
Yeah.
or every 2 weeks, become better at coaching people, become better at my craft, become better at, putting my messages out there, become better at reading.
Mm-hmm. Oh, again, take advantage of the time.
Yeah, become better at working out. If I can physically get better, fitter, if I can get mentally sharper, more aware, if I can get emotionally more resilient and grounded, then I'm only more prepared to come out forward
Mm-hmm.
and attack any situation I have to deal with. Living in like, oh my God, what am I going to do? That's not going to put me in a situation where I can attack the situation, right?
Yeah.
So like in training, when we're helping and spotting someone under the squat rack, my
Mm-hmm.
whole philosophy is focus on what they should be doing. Tight core, glutes, fire up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, don't slouch, okay? Because when
Well,
you
to
say
remember.
don't slouch, be careful. What is the brain thinking? What is the client under the squat rack thinking? They're thinking, oh yeah, don't slouch. So the brain will only listen to the words. The brain will
Yeah.
only listen to like the actual specific words that are coming on. So right now, if you can get better in all areas of your life, you're going to be a lot more well prepared to handle any situation.
Absolutely.
That's how I live my life.
Yeah. And taking advantage of this time to really, and I love the analogy of exercise when you illustrated that also, is because sometimes we get so caught up in what we get used to when we're actually doing the work that sometimes we forget to be present. There's a lot of other mechanics going on in a given exercise that we may not have had a chance to pay attention to. So use this time to pay attention to not only in that context, but also look at your entire career, look at your entire life, look in the way that you live, and look in terms of health.
Right.
When we're talking about health, what advice would you give to anybody in regards to health and fitness during this time?
So for me, health and fitness is a well-rounded thing. And I'll conclude with this question because you came on a good question. If I can be physically in shape, if I can be mentally more grounded and resilient and more positive minded, if I can be emotionally more stable versus going like this,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm healthier. So how do I do that, right? So I work out. I do 4 or 5 days a week, resistance training in my apartment at home now.
Mm-hmm.
They're very intense, but they vary intensely. So push-ups, squats, lunges, single leg squats and stuff. And my whole purpose is in each and every set to work the muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Heart rate coming up, sweating, everything. Second, I am continually living with the same routine that I had before this situation happened, which was Monday to Friday, I eat well and healthy. My vegetables, my whole foods, my hydration, everything, right? Like I'm sticking to the same routine. And weekends, I have my treat meal, my warm chocolate chip cookies or my brownies, whatever it is that I fancy, yeah?
Yeah.
And then I'm still doing the 10 to 15 minutes reading every morning, 10
Mm-hmm.
gratitude journaling on my
Yeah.
thoughts. So I haven't left any of my routine. I still wake
I
up.
love that.
If
Yeah.
you can continue training your body with the same routine, you're good. Because what you're doing is you're just saying, look, subconsciously that life is what I'm gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just deal with the rest. I mean, that's just, that's a long conversation, but at least you're doing what you're supposed to do. And then I'll end it with this. Remember, personal trainers, self-employed people, diversify and adapt,
Mm-hmm.
reinvent. Okay.
I love that. I love that. It's so important to have a routine because there is so much uncertainty right now that if you get lost in uncertainty, you're just going to lose yourself. You have to stay grounded. You have to have a morning routine. Get up at the same time. Okay. You just adapt your workouts to whatever is needed, but you're still working. It just so happened the economy changed, but you still have to maintain a routine. Any last words, Adam?
No, I just want to tell our listeners that thanks for supporting us. Thanks for listening to our content. We only want to do this to help you guys out.
Exactly.
You guys out. And if you guys can hit and subscribe and smash that button and like it and pay it forward and fast forward this to people, it helps us it supports us. It enables us for us to put this information out there for you. We're doing this because we're passionate.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm happy, Nelson.
Adam, how can people reach you?
People who reach me, own_your_fitness on Instagram, Google, ownyourfitness.net. That is my website. And LinkedIn is Adam Dare at Own Your Fitness.
Perfect. Listeners, hope you took note. Reach out to Adam. Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you, Nelson.
See ya.